Production, the courtroom showdown. The story opens in a tense courtroom packed with reporters, spectators, and legal professionals. At the defendant's table sits Big Shaq, a towering, well built man with a calm yet commanding presence. On the other side, a tough, confident female cop, the one who arrested him, stands ready to testify. The air is thick with tension, and it's clear there's history between them. As the judge enters, the cop smirks, confident that she has the upper hand. But no one in the room, not even the judge, knows Big Shaq's true identity yet. Mockery and accusations, the officer takes the stand, her confidence on full display as she begins her testimony. She paints Big Shaq as a dangerous criminal, using loaded language to imply he's violent and untrustworthy. Her tone is condescending, and she even throws in racial stereotypes, making it clear she sees him as nothing more than a thug. She smirks, occasionally glancing at Big Shaq with arrogance, expecting no resistance. The courtroom reacts. Some spectators nod along, while others shift uncomfortably. Big Shaq, however, remains silent, his expression unreadable, as if he's waiting for the right moment. Big Shaq's calm but powerful demeanor. While the cop continues her mocking and misleading testimony, Big Shaq remains completely calm and composed. He doesn't react to her insults, instead, sitting with quiet confidence, his hands folded as if he's already in control. The defense attorney doesn't interrupt. It's almost as if they're letting the cop dig her own grave. A few people in the courtroom start to sense something is off. Why isn't Big Shaq nervous or defensive? His posture, his silence, and the way he carries himself don't match the cop's accusations. The judge, initially dismissive, begins to take a closer look at him, sensing that this case might not be as simple as it seemed. As the cop continues her testimony, cracks start to show in her narrative. The defense attorney begins asking precise questions, forcing her to clarify details. She stumbles slightly, contradicting herself on small points: what time the arrest happened, what Big Shaq supposedly said, or even where he was. The jury exchanges glances, sensing something isn't adding up. The judge, now more attentive, leans forward, scrutinizing the cop's statements. The once confident officer comfortably, but she still believes she's in control until the defense delivers the bombshell. Big Shaq's true identity. The defense attorney stands confidently, ready to turn the entire case on its head. With a calm yet commanding voice, they reveal Big Shaq's true identity. He's not a criminal at all. Instead, he's a high-ranking military officer, a federal agent, or even an undercover investigator working on corruption cases. The courtroom gasps. This changes everything. The judge's expression shifts from skepticism to shock, realizing the implications. The cop, who had been smug just moments ago, freezes, her face turning pale as the truth sets in. Everything she just said is now under scrutiny, and she knows she's in serious trouble. The cop's reaction: shock and fear. The once confident officer now looks visibly shaken, her arrogance replaced by panic. She stammers, trying to explain herself, but the damage is done. The courtroom is dead silent, everyone staring at her, waiting for her response. The judge, now clearly displeased, glares at her, realizing she may have lied under oath. Reporters in the audience start scribbling furiously, sensing a major scandal. Big Shaq remains calm and composed, watching as the truth completely dismantles the case against him. The officer glances around the room, realizing she has no escape. Her career and reputation are crumbling before her eyes. It's the cop. The defense attorney presses further, exposing even more inconsistencies in the officer's testimony. The judge's patience wears thin, and their tone shifts from neutral to stern as they demand answers. The jury members, once uncertain, now look disgusted, realizing they almost convicted an innocent man. The prosecution, sensing a losing battle, begins distancing themselves from the officer, unwilling to defend her lies. Whispers spread through the courtroom. This isn't just a wrongful accusation, it's a scandal. The officer, now sweating, tries to backtrack and justify her actions, but no one is buying it. The judge makes a critical decision. An investigation into the cop's conduct is now unavoidable. The tables are turned. Big Shaq's victory. The judge dismisses the charges against Big Shaq, declaring him completely innocent. Instead, the court shifts its focus to the officer, ordering an internal investigation into her misconduct. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. This case has completely flipped. The defense attorney smirks slightly, having successfully exposed the truth. Big Shaq finally speaks, delivering a powerful statement. People like me get judged before we even speak, but today, the truth spoke louder. The officer lowers her head, knowing her career is now in jeopardy. The courtroom erupts in whispers as reporters rush to cover the shocking turn of events. Downfall. The once arrogant officer now looks defeated, her face pale as she realizes the consequences of her actions. The judge announces that she will face an internal review and possibly perjury charges for lying under oath. The prosecution team, embarrassed, steps away from her, refusing to defend her anymore. Reporters swarm outside the courthouse, eager to break the story of a corrupt officer caught red-handed. Big Shaq walks out of the courtroom with dignity, his reputation restored. Meanwhile, the cop faces the reality of her downfall. She's gone from a confident accuser to a disgraced officer in a matter of minutes. As she leaves the courtroom, a bystander mutters, "Guess she arrested the wrong man this time." Final lesson: never judge a book by its cover. As Big Shaq steps outside, the cameras flash, but he remains humble and composed. A reporter asks if he has anything to say, and he responds, "Justice isn't about power, it's about truth. Today, the truth won." Meanwhile, the disgraced cop quietly exits through a side door, avoiding the media. The judge calls for a full investigation into her past cases, hinting that this may not have been her first wrongful accusation. The story spreads fast, sparking conversations about bias, corruption, and accountability in the justice system. The final scene shows Big Shaq walking away, not as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience and justice. The message is clear: never judge someone based on appearances, because the truth will always come out. A glimpse into the future. Months later, Big Shaq has used his experience to become an advocate for justice, speaking out against wrongful accusations. The disgraced cop has either lost her job, faced legal consequences, or disappeared from public view, her career in ruins. The courtroom incident becomes a high-profile case, leading to policy changes and a crackdown on racial profiling. Big Shaq is seen mentoring young law students or activists, ensuring that what happened to him doesn't happen to others. In a poetic twist, he's invited back to the courthouse, not as a defendant, but as a guest speaker. The story comes full circle, proving that the truth, no matter how delayed, always finds its way to the light.